Hello, awesome people. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at Matthew Jorgenson's second short story in the Pawn of Chaos collection of short stories from 1996, set in the Eternal Champion mythos that was originally created and popularized by Michael Moorcock, and he actually has a short story in it too. Now, these short stories aren't from other people that have been written over the last few years and stuff like that. They're actually written brand new for this collection, which is pretty cool. And so you get a chance to see what other authors think about this epic creation and so forth. So we've been doing a deep dive into this for you folks. I bought this about 20 years ago or so when I was in college, and Michael Moorcock was my favorite author, but we didn't have a lot of stuff that was written by other people. So I was doing a deep dive in that at that time, reading a lot of his collections and such, but I just never read this because it wasn't by him. So it wasn't like one of the top things that I was sitting about and reading. And then in my junior year in college, H.P. Lovecraft became my favorite author, and so I've never really gone back and read this. So I thought it'd be fun for this channel to knock out some of this stuff for you folks. The second short story is 33 pages long. It's also called The Enquiry. It's also about Elric, that big hit of character. He's a darker, edgier. He's really the first major anti-hero in fantasy. He's born as the leader of an evil race of humanoids, kind of like dark elves, called the Malabians. And he has pangs of conscience also although he's not like this great guy like Dritz Do'Urden. You can definitely tell that's where Dritz Do'Urden came from. He also wields a famous sword called Swordbringer, which is a sword that sucks the souls from people after attacking them and dealing damage to them in order to strengthen its user, right? So he'll be killing a lot of friends, allies, family, and that sort of a thing in his quest for the battle. So the Eternal Champion series basically has different incarnations of the Eternal Champion, who's basically an avatar in the massive multiverse playing spanning events, wars between law versus chaos for you folks. And then what we'll see over time is that on each of these planes will be a love, a companion, and the actual event champion himself, or them actually, and sometimes it's a woman. So that also happens too. So there you go. That's sort of what's happening, and sort of the key thing. This is the first major multiversal conflict. This is the first major sort of thing. So here we go. Now, so this is my least favorite short story in this collection so far, and here's my major reason why. What the author, do you remember in the mid '90s how the comics and other genres would often create characters that were brand new, that were super mega edgy and darker, or they would take characters that were already dark and edgy and make them even darker or edgier, like the Punisher, who'd already been around for a while, or Ghost Rider, who's around in the 70s, and then really make them dark, or things like Wolverine or Lobo in DC Comics, right, and so forth. So here's my take on this. Here again, 1996, right? So the author here is taking a character who's already dark, who's already edgy, who's already an anti-hero, and making him even darker and even edgier. And I just don't like that much. So this is probably more like a 4 out of 10. So basically what's happening in this 33-page short story, which I read in about a little more than an hour, is that we're opening up in a naval battle that's about to start, and so forth. And Elric is leading it, and his companion is a captain, and they're talking back and forth and looking at it and planning it and so forth. And then basically the first naval battle that opens things up, it takes about 10 pages, the 33, but rather than giving us battle scenes, we'll just get pre-battle scenes of the two sides, and then mid-battle, what's happening to get you caught up, but not actually battle scenes. And then the end, you'll find out what happened. But I don't like that we're just not actually getting, 10 pages of an actual naval combat. That I think would have been cool. Right. So I don't like the author's choice, in addition to making it a dark and edgy version of a character that was already dark and edgy, so it feels more like a parody than an actual. And then I don't like his choice in the first 10 pages to step away from a naval battle, instead of just giving us like naval battle actions with things happening and boarding missions and attacking of like, catapults and stuff, right? Instead, we're getting just here's what's happening before, here's what's happening mid to get you caught up with what's happening, and then here's what's happening at the end. We're also finding out that they're slipping in and so forth. They have a much smaller navy, but Elric is a master, a sorcerer, and so forth. And so he's using his sorcery against the more rudimentary sorceries against their attackers, and so forth. And their fleet's like a fourth of the size of the fleet that they're attacking. So that's so they don't have numbers in their way either. And so that's kind of cool. And such. Anyway, after what happens in the Navy attack and such, there's going to be something that happens, and Elric will push himself into a very, very different place, and that's sort of where the concept of the Enquiry comes from. That's where the name of it comes from. But no spoilers. As a reminder, my reviews aren't spoiler free, and so forth. So the lack of the really strong combat scene in the naval battle, as well as just taking on a dark and edgy character and making it a very 90s dark and edgy character, I just don't think it works very well. So there you are. I'll go ahead and leave you to it. Have you read this short story, the Enquiry, the 4 out of 10? And if so, did you agree or disagree with my thoughts? I'd be happy to talk with you in the comments. So I want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investigate and watching my video, because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're being pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, why not hit that subscribe button? There's going to be a lot more of these to follow. And then also, just as a reminder of his channel's name, the worst thing about new books is a quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Joubert, who said that the worst thing about new books was that they kept us from reading the old ones. And so a short story from 1996 is definitely older, right? It's decades ago. So I like going back and reading these sorts of things and seeing what I think about them. Now, I know some time has passed. So there you are. Thanks again. Have a great day.